Hi, folks. Bob Mannery here. You're listening to A2D Radio, real sports talk radio for the fans, by the fans, no agenda. These guys are the best in the business. Hashtag it. No notes.
Live from the Real Talk Studios in Mount Ephraim, New Jersey, it's the Sports Hounds with you till 10 o'clock. Brad Ryer directly to my right. Frank Vesby producing the show. I'm Rob Brinkman. Got a lot to talk about. Football is here. Phillies are locked in a battle here. They're 2-2 with the Washington Nationals in the bottom of the third in South Philadelphia. But we're going to start with the NFL. Third week of preseason is over. The dress rehearsals are over. Yeah, we're going to have to sit through a brutal fourth preseason game for my Eagles, your Giants. But, you know, the dress rehearsal's over. Eagles haven't looked particularly great. I'm not that worried about it. Giants have looked good. But the East, the Scanzano Sports poll question of the night, who's going to finish last in the NFC East? Brad, even though you're a Giants fan, I think we can both agree that the Eagles are overwhelming favorites to repeat as division champions in the East.
As they should be. They're the Super Bowl champions.
Okay. Well, you know, Philadelphia's a little nervous right now. They lost 5-0 to the Browns. I'm sure that's going to be well publicized.
That was an ugly
by
game.
HBO. Has there been – so there'll be a Hard Knocks episode tomorrow that will feature the Browns-Eagles game. Is that correct? That would be correct, right?
That is correct, sir.
So, they're going to be on their high horses. The Browns.
Oh, we're going to watch a 5-0 win on HBO.
I can just see Michael Kendricks now on HBO. I told you.
Told you so.
I told you.
Told you so.
Know what? Just a side note before we get into the East. Michael Kendricks said that, and then the third preseason game is the dress rehearsal for the regular season. I didn't see Michael Kendricks play a meaningful snap in that football game. Did you? Did I miss something? Did he play snap? I mean, I don't know. He didn't make any play. If he was in there, he didn't make any fucking plays.
I wasn't even paying attention to the game. I was focusing more on my DraftKings stuff, but other than that, I got
what's Mike
nothing.
Parker got you?
No, I just wanted to do it.
Reeled in?
Nah, no golf picks, but I've actually been doing so good with the CFL stuff.
You play CFL DraftKings?
CFL DraftKings. This past week, I was like in the top 150.
Who'd you pick? Johnny Manziel?
No, I had the Rough Riders defense. They had like a couple fumbles.
The Rough Riders defense.
Yes, Saskatchewan.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Do we need to call the number? 1-800?
Nah,
Gambler?
No gambling. But yeah, I've been playing some DraftKings.
How are the Calgary Stampeders doing this year?
They're doing pretty good. I actually picked a player, I believe on the it was either Winnipeg or Stampeders, racked in 42.9 points for that for their game. So I was pretty excited for that.
I always like the Rouge in Canadian football.
Oh yeah, they need to bring that back.
I don't know.
They need to bring.
I don't know a goddamn thing about the Canadian football.
You get a point for a touchback.
Yeah.
You get a point for a touchback?
A point for a touchback.
Except the end zone is 25 yards long.
What?
Yep. And you have to play it out or you have to kick it out to avoid a 1-point rouge.
See, this is why we need a wall. But let's get back into the NFC East, American football.
And that is the only coverage you'll probably hear about Canadian football in A2D Radio.
Yes.
Yeah, that would be it.
Yes, unless Wilder jumps on, and I'm not even sure if he likes Canadian football. He lives in Canada. He probably doesn't even like Canadian football.
Doesn't. I don't think he likes Canadian football. He loves good old American football.
No one does. Of course he does. He's a great fan of the station.
Yeah.
He's in my division, I believe, in the A2D
yes.
Fantasy Football League, which me and Brad already won. Like, don't even. It's over. It's done. Me and Brad won. But
absolutely.
The Scanzano Sports poll question: who's going to finish last in the NFC East? So, Brad, I'll kick it to you. What is your pecking order in the NFC East? How would you rank these teams from 1 to 4?
I've been going back and forth on this all summer, but I think still the Eagles are on top. I'm going to put the Giants second, the Cowboys third, and the Redskins fourth.
You have the Redskins fourth.
Yeah, the Redskins are going to be a god-awful team again. By the way, Terrell Pryor is no longer on their team. He's now on the Jets. And you watch. He'll be a very effective player on the Jets.
Right, because now he has no expectations.
Right.
I believe he caught a touchdown from Sam Darnold against the Giants.
Yes, he did.
And I know. I said last week that I wanted Teddy Bridgewater to get a shot, but doesn't look like he's going to.
Darnold's looked pretty good.
Darnold looks like the cream of the crop of the rookie quarterbacks thus far. I know there's a lot of football to be played in these guys' careers, but
it's preseason, and I would go on record as saying preseason really doesn't mean very much. I mean, nobody game plans for this stuff, and they're just getting their reps. So
with the Facebook chat flying out, we're gonna get to your comments in a second, but obviously the Eagles would be first.
Right. I like the Giants to come in second. I think the Giants are going to score a lot of points. I think, having Beckham back.
If they don't score a lot of points, it's going to be Eli's fault.
Yeah, I agree.
Because it's not going to be.
You can't blame the coach.
Yeah, definitely you can't blame
Shermer. Will be fine. Barkley will be really good. Odell
is Odell.
Shepard is a good receiver. Ingram is a good
tight end.
Here's the thing.
How good is this offense going to be when Odell's out there attracting all that attention? They should have a pretty good running game. No? I mean,
no. If you almost can't double team Odell Beckham if you're the Giant. If you're opposing the Giants.
Well, Ingram and Shepard can both beat you.
He can hurt you. Their running game can hurt you.
Yeah, I think they're going to score some points. The question with them is going to be their defense.
If they give Eli time,
well, that's going to be an issue.
I
still don't know about their offensive line, Rob.
What's that?
I still don't know about the Giants' offensive line. It still scares me.
Well, look at Dallas's offensive line. My answer to the poll question, I have Dallas in the basement. I don't like what I've seen all from them this summer. Zach Martin has a hyperextended knee.
Their center is
Travis Frederick, their Pro Bowl center, he's got
autoimmune disease. I'm not a doctor. I have no idea what that means, but it does not sound good. It doesn't sound good, but it all depends on what kind of disease he has. It didn't really say what he has, but he's
not going to play for a while.
He's not going to play for a while.
What does a while mean?
It could be from weeks to months, depending on what he got.
And that's their bread and butter. That strong offensive line. And I can hear the jackasses of the world, like Skip Bayless leading Cowboys Nation. Oh, well, they would have won the Super Bowl if Travis Frederick wasn't sick.
Yeah, right. And if the Queen had balls, she'd be king. So
very valid point.
Ooh,
yeah.
All right.
I mean,
so I have Washington in third. I guess I'll put the Giants second. I have to put the Giants second just because of that offense, and then the Eagles first. One playoff team from this division, I see. Yeah, the Giants are going to finish second. They're improved, but they're not a playoff team yet.
Well, we'll see. I mean, the Giants somehow are going to have to get to 10 wins, and with that schedule, it's going to be real, real tough. I mean, a lot of guys on the Giants are going to have to step up if they want to win 10 games.
Michael Jenkins thanks the Redskins. Tom Arnone checking in, back from the West Coast. Yo, boys, it's the Redskins. They're such an easy whipping boy in the NFC East.
Yeah, well, because they stink. They brought in Alex Smith and let
Kirk Cousins
go, and Kirk Cousins is better.
You think?
Than Alex Smith, yeah. I like Kirk Cousins.
It's hit or miss with Alex Smith most of the time.
I don't like Alex Smith. I don't think he's a very good passer. I mean, he's a good short passer, but he's not going to be.
He led the league in completions of 20+ yards last year.
Look at his receivers. How many were there to Tyreek Hill and to Travis Kelce?
Probably a lot.
Yeah. You know, I mean,
I think Kirk Cousins is a fraud.
Oh boy.
I think he's a complete fraud. I think he's a complete stiff.
You put him on the
I don't think
Minnesota
he's
Vikings,
got an ounce of the primetime it factor in his body.
I disagree.
And I think the Vikings are going to be disappointed with what they paid for this year.
I disagree. I think Kirk Cousins is the real deal. I mean, he.
Based on what? What has he ever done?
He threw a lot for a lot of yards. It's not his fault the Redskins had no defense, and they had no running game.
And Kirk Cousins also plays in the clutch
It's
as
always
well
the
when
excuses
needed.
with these marginal quarterbacks. It's always these
You know,
excuses.
the only problem with Kirk Cousins that I have is 2 years ago when the Giants made the playoffs. Okay, you remember when they were 11-5? 2 years ago?
I remember
Yes.
that.
Okay.
Yes,
Way back
Last
when they
game-
defied the odds.
Last game of the season, okay? The Giants played Odell for just the first half. Last game of the season, all the Redskins had to do was beat the Giants, who had already clinched a playoff berth, and were resting half their team, okay? And they couldn't do it. They lost. They lost 13-10.
That's because Kirk Cousins is a fraud.
He choked.
He's never won a primetime football game in his career. If Kirk Cousins is in the game and the stadium lights are on because it's a primetime game, he's gonna lose. I think he's 0-8.
You know what? He's going to get his chance to prove it now.
yeah.
He's gonna be in a lot of primetime games.
and looking
I
at
will say this though, in that division, he's probably the third best quarterback.
yeah, he's up there. He's
He's the
looking
third-
at the divisional
he's the
quarterbacks
third-
in
he's
the
the third
NFC
best
North.
quarterback in
Stafford's
his
better. I'm
division.
assuming Stafford.
Stafford and Rodgers are both better than him.
Stafford's better than him.
I mean, with those three, and then a very distant Mitch Trubisky. I mean, the NFC North is going to be tough.
We don't even know about Mitch Trubisky.
We
No,
don't
you
know
know.
about Trubisky, but
you know they're going to have a with running game. The Bears.
yeah, that's true.
Howard is a real solid running back.
And they still got that three-headed monster in their system with Howard,
Trey Burton. They
Terry
have Allen
Cohen,
Robinson.
Benny Cunningham,
can
Allen
score.
Robinson.
They can score.
They got the pieces for a good offense. It's just they need
I don't know
some
if their
extra
defense-
help on the defense. But going back with Kirk Cousins, I mean, if you look at the newly acquired quarterbacks over the course of the offseason, Kirk Cousins has to be under the most pressure to see if he could actually prove it with a really talented receiving core in Minnesota.
Right. And my
And
opinion,
a great defense.
My
and that
opinion-
defense.
it's
Yep.
going to be very hard for Kirk Cousins to give the Vikings what Case Keenum gave the Vikings last year, which was a phenomenal season. I don't know. I'm not a Kirk Cousins guy. I think he's a fraud. I don't think he stinks. He clearly doesn't stink, but I don't think
he had a lot of 400-yard games in Washington.
I don't think he has. I just don't think he has
The it factor.
the it factor in him. Like Nick
Well, you know, he's going to
Nick
get
Foles in the Super
he's
Bowl.
going to get his chance.
What he did in the Super Bowl. Now Nick Foles, he's an okay quarterback.
Nick Foles.
I don't think Kirk Cousins is capable of rising to the occasion on a big stage like Nick Foles did in the Super Bowl and having a good game.
Yeah, Nick Foles
just don't.
played. Nick Foles rose his game. He basically raised his level of play in the Super Bowl.
And I think Kirk Cousins shrinks as the games get bigger and bigger.
Well, again, how many times has Washington really had a big game in the last few years? I mean, he's
Well,
been.
It's hard to
Yeah.
have big. My point being is it's hard to have big games in the NFL when your quarterback's a fraud.
Yeah, but when their running backs are always fumbling the ball, and
I know it's always an excuse.
I'm just saying.
It's always an
I'm
excuse
just
for
saying
guys
he
like
always
Kirk
seems- He
Cousins
always seems to have a lot of
and
yardage. though.
Dak Prescott.
No,
and-
he's better
and-
than Dak Prescott. Come on.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I'm not.
Absolutely. Oh,
I'm not
I think
sure.
he's a lot better than Dak Prescott. I don't think Dak Prescott is good at all. Dak
That's
Prescott.
a little.
if he has to-
That's a little unfair.
Nah, I don't think he's good. He's good when Ezekiel Elliott's on the team. Sure, of course he's good then. I mean, all he has to do is turn around and hand the ball off.
Steve Krasowski, the Giants will be last.
There's a little hate going on there.
Run, pass, punt. James Wilder's checking in. Steve has Eagles, Cowboys, Skins, Giants as his pecking order. Mario Pellet also agrees the Giants will finish last.
You guys think if the Giants are going to finish last when Odell Beckham is playing?
They
and
have the
he's
most.
healthy?
They have the most votes so far.
Yeah, it's like Redskins and Giants.
It sounds to me like there's a little New York hate in this.
yeah.
Kyle
in the
Nitro
studio.
Freak Meager, he thinks the Redskins. Dion Brown has checked in. What's up, Dion? Oh, there he is. Dion has Dallas and/or Washington. Dallas hasn't shown me anything in this preseason. Washington, even with the acquisition of AP, doesn't mean they will contend. I don't trust Alex Smith, so he's like you. He doesn't trust
Yeah,
Alex
I don't
Smith.
like
either.
Alex
I don't
Smith at
trust
all.
Alex Smith, but the one
Why
team
don't you trust I don't understand.
I'm
What has
surprised
he ever
that
done?
He's been in the
Yeah.
NFC Championship game
Yeah.
a couple times.
Yeah, and he
as
lost.
a Niner, yeah.
The Niners.
Okay.
The Niners got to the NFC Championship because of their great defense, and because Vernon
They
Davis
lost to the
was
Giants. They lost to
unbelievable.
one of those Giants teams.
They
Yeah.
did, yeah.
Yeah, they did. They did.
I mean,
And they got to the Super Bowl and lost to the Ravens.
Baltimore, yeah. I mean, I'm not
But
the
that was
biggest
because
fan
really,
of Alex
really their defense was great,
and he lost his job
to Colin Kaepernick.
right,
because Alex Smith got injured.
Yeah.
right, and Kaepernick came in and nobody knew how to
Adjust to
Nobody
that
could stop
adjust to
playing
that
against him.
pistol offense.
right and then once they figured out that Kaepernick really isn't accurate and just
Yeah.
stop him from running and make him stand in the pocket, that he's not accurate.
Right.
So
Scott Walsh thinks the Skins. The only team that can beat themselves in the NFC East is our Eagles. I see the Giants hanging around, but not that much of a threat that we should be scared of. New York at all. Eli is aging. O-line is still a question mark. OBJ could take a year off, being received all that money. We've seen it before. Stars getting paid in the offseason don't fully commit, but it's wait and see. I don't see how people think that the Giants are going to finish last. I don't get that.
I don't think so either.
Yeah,
I see the Giants as a second place team at best, maybe in the running for the wild card, but not fully as a playoff team. They're there, but I'm not certain.
The Giants are a bubble team.
They're
for
a
the
bubble team.
playoffs.
They are a bubble team.
They're a bubble team.
And I'm
I mean,
surprised the comments aren't full with Cowboys, because that's to answer my part of the poll
Well, 'cause
question.
the
the
Cowboys-
Cowboys are going to finish last in the division.
Because you know why? Because Cowboy fans are cockroaches, and they only come out when they're really good.
Oh yeah,
When they're bad, you don't even. Not only do you not hear from them, you will not even get an opinion out of them because they're too busy hiding.
oh yeah.
That's
Ishmael
what they do.
Rodriguez, Eagles, Giants, Redskins, Cowboys. So there's another vote for Cowboys. So
There we go. All right.
Now, is this Cowboy hate or is this? I can't see the Red. I mean, I think the Redskins are by far the worst team in the division. I just don't see it.
I mean, it's either going to be Dallas or Washington. I
Who
mean,
are the
that's-
Redskins receivers?
if Dallas
right now?
doesn't have, who's Dallas's receivers right
Yeah.
now?
Well, they got Beasley at least.
He stinks. Give me
He's a
fucking
third.
break.
He's a third down guy.
He lost a Twitter war to Howard Eskin. If you lose a
That has nothing
Twitter
to do
war
with
to-
his ability on the field. Listen, all
yes,
I
it
know
does.
is
A professional athlete should not be even in a beef with Howard Eskin, and
no, that's
two,
true.
losing a beef to Howard
Well,
Eskin.
Let's see.
on
Let
Twitter.
me take a look at the Cowboys.
As far as
receivers.
Beasley is
Alan
concerned,
Hearns.
as far as Beasley is concerned, I only say that from when I watch the Giants play the Cowboys. Beasley always seems to kill them. So I mean, you know, that's kind of where I'm basing my thing about Beasley. I don't think he's so bad. I think he's pretty good. Elliott. I mean, Elliott is a real good running back. I mean, thing is though, their offensive line is not what it used to be, and Elliott's going to have to work a lot harder for
Yep.
his yards. It's not going to be free
I know.
free yardage for him.
I don't see this. I mean, Michael Gallup, Cole Beasley,
I mean, Gallup is a good draft pick.
Alan Hearns,
Terrence Williams.
Tavon Austin, who can't play a lick.
Tavon Austin is one of the most overrated players in the league.
All he is fast.
Yeah, I know he can't catch, and that's a problem.
And then they have running back. They have Zeke. I mean, who's their tight end? Witten kind of left
Yeah.
them high and dry to go do Monday Night Football.
they got nobody at tight end.
Rico Gathers, former Baylor great in basketball.
Well, he's basically been it for a while now. Oh boy,
Ugh.
the Phillies just made an
Ugh.
ugly play. That was a heck of a bunt.
Let's take a look at the.
Was it though?
Yeah,
I
it was a
can't
pretty
even.
good bunt.
I almost put my foot through my television on Saturday when those idiots lost.
Well, Sir Anthony Dominguez
But
is.
Back to the
I don't like
Eagles.
Yeah, they got nobody. Jeff Swaim and Blake Jarwin
I will
are your
have
tight ends.
I will have to give the Eagles fans a little bit of credit because I thought we were going to get blown up both last week and especially this week with Sudfeld over Foles.
Oh come on!
The
You gotta
narrative.
be kidding me. Why do people take preseason so seriously? I don't get it. Preseason means
The only thing
It's
that can
nothing.
happen, the only thing that can happen to you in preseason, if you're a good team,
is that you get a bunch of
something-
injuries
is something
and
bad.
it ruins the season.
Either you don't look good, or you get hurt, or your guys make mistakes, whatever it may be. If you're a good team, every little step in the right direction, a formed tackle, You know, a good block is like the greatest thing.
Right.
Like, I love all these idiots that think the Browns are going to win 6-7 games this year. They're not going to win
They'll be
fucking
lucky
6,
to win.
7
They'll
games.
be lucky to win 4 or 5.
6.5 is the posted total in Vegas. I'm under.
Yeah, I'm under that too.
I'm under. I'm still in that 4 and 12 range.
I'm the
They're
4
gonna
and 12,
finish
5 and
last.
11.
For
Cleveland.
Cleveland, I don't even know with Cleveland. I'm definitely riding the Hard Knocks hype train.
That's what it is. That's all it is right now.
I mean, they are
They're
going to
not
win some
good.
games, but they're not. They're miles away from the Steelers. I have the Steelers taking the AFC North. Cleveland might make a run at second place, but they'll have a losing record.
shot.
No way. The Ravens are
no
way
shot.
better than them.
The Browns in second place.
And
no
the
shot.
Cincinnati Bengals have way too much talent to the Browns to
I
beat
don't know.
them.
I'm not sure with this
the
Bengals team.
The Bengals should be able to put up some points if Dalton doesn't play like a complete
Right.
idiot. They have AJ Green. John Ross has had a good summer. I'm a big Joe Mixon fan, as you can see from my fantasy football teams. Big Joe Mixon fan. I think he's got all the talent in the world.
And Gio Bernard's a good backup. I'll say that.
And they've
as
got
well.
a good offensive line.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I'm just not
The thing
sure
is,
with
their
Dalton.
defense is a bunch of knuckleheads,
Yeah.
and they're probably going to get a 15-yard penalty
And
every time they try and tackle
and
someone.
Marvin Lewis.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
it.
Yeah, Marvin. Yeah.
and then the Ravens. I don't know who's going to finish second and third, but it won't be the Browns. It'll be either the Ravens second or the Bengals second. With the
Did
opposite
Wilson
being third.
Ramos take his foot off a home plate before he caught the ball?
He might have.
They're
that
challenging.
what they're
I
playing
think that's
it?
what they're challenging. Oh,
I mean,
boy.
we'll get to the Phillies in a little bit here. I mean, Jesus, I mean, the wheels really came off in
Yeah,
Toronto.
Mike Parker's taking the over. He has them at 7-9. I do have them at 7-9 as well.
That's
7-9, based on what? Besides Hard Knocks.
I mean, I like the receiving core. I like Jarvis Landry.
Josh Gordon
Gordon
just showed up.
is amazing.
He was
David
in-
Njoku,
in-
reliable tight end. I mean, Carlos Hyde and Duke Thompson can also
Carlos
play as
Hyde
well.
is a good player.
He's a good player.
He's a good player.
Duke
I'll
can
give
receive
you
as
him.
well. Not sure with the defense, though. The defense is a little bit suspect at best, but I think they could win some games with that defense. I'm just not sure.
I'm not crazy about their defense. At all.
I'm not too crazy about it, but I think that offense is going to
They
be
have a brand new
something-
secondary.
It's going
all
to be
young
something
guys.
interesting to see.
I mean, I just don't see it with them. I hope they do. I hope they do good, just because, Cleveland. The one thing that they had was LeBron, and he went to L.A.
Well,
So
they
I
still
would
have
like-
the Indians.
Yeah, but
They're pretty darn good.
okay. So let me get this tremendous talent act. This is Mike Parker. Mike, what's up? Almost Ryder Cup time.
TTP Mallon, by the way, thinks Cowboys receiving core disgustingly bad. Not just bad, disgustingly bad.
He's not wrong.
And he's taking over for the Browns. So I don't see it with the Browns.
All right, Mike Parker, tremendous talent. I'm assuming Mike's talking about the Browns here. Tremendous talent acquisitions. Where? Who?
Mayfield, I guess. Carlos
Who?
Hyde.
Where?
Landry.
Hyde's a good player. I like Hyde.
Hyde's very good.
I don't understand why you negate Carlos Hyde by taking Nick Chubb at the top of the second round when you have all kinds of
Well,
needs.
Here's a question for you, okay? And maybe I'm
And
naive.
you think Baker Mayfield is going to win 7 games in Cleveland?
What, I mean, Crowell wasn't so bad with Cleveland, was he?
Dude, Isaiah Crowell stinks. He's
Crowell's
so
not
average.
even on the team anymore.
He's on the Jets now, but
Yeah,
I
he's
mean,
on
he
the
wasn't
Jets.
bad. They had no
Yeah.
offensive line.
He's terrible. He's not terrible. He's average.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, do the Browns actually have an offensive line that could open up some holes for Hyde?
Other than, I mean,
No, because everyone
they're
talks
one
their
really
about
good
best- their
player.
best
Their
O-line's
player.
gone.
Yeah, their best offensive lineman retired.
And
Yeah.
by the way, Joe Thomas should be a first ballot Hall of
oh
Famer.
yeah, hands down.
Just because he had to play his whole career with that shit franchise.
Yeah,
Agreed, hands down.
I agree. I
But-
agree. And he was a class act.
Yeah.
But I mean, I just don't get it with the Browns. I mean, Landry. I mean, okay.
Jarvis Landry is pretty good.
And everyone said their offensive line was going to break out last year, and they sucked.
Yeah, they were awful.
And then you have poor Tyrod Taylor. He takes the Bills to the playoffs for the first time in 20 years?
Yeah.
He gets shipped off to Cleveland, and then they use the first overall pick to take Baker Mayfield, which it looks early on like they should have taken Sam Darnold. So I have no faith that this team don't mess everything up.
I think the Browns.
They mess everything up every time.
The Browns screwed up that draft so bad, Rob. If you think about it, they should have taken Barkley with the first choice and then taken one of the 3 quarterbacks at 4. And save their money with Now, I mean, nothing against Carlos Hyde, but Carlos Hyde.
I don't know if that
makes some money.
I don't agree with you there, because they did, even before the draft, before they took Nick Chubb, they did give Carlos Hyde some money. So I understand them not taking Barkley.
But the thing is, they didn't have to pay Hyde. They could have used that money to go get another defensive player, and then pick
fine.
Barkley. And then you
Be
could
that as it may.
But you potentially
got to get your quarterback at 1.
But you could have gotten him at 4 too.
No, because Darnold would have been gone.
The Giants
could have taken
The Giants probably would have taken Darnold at 2.
They didn't.
No,
if they took
if
Barkley.
Barkley was taken at 1, I think Darnold would have been taken at 2. I think
But
the Giants would have taken him.
If you
and the Jets would
play
have taken
games,
Mayfield.
if you play games like that, and say Darnold and Baker aren't there, because if the Giants, or if say they take
if the Giants traded down, then what would happen?
I don't know.
The
What
Giants
if
could have traded
Arizona
down.
jumped in to the 2 slot?
They ended up getting Rosen anyway.
Right, because I don't
Rosen's
think
having a good preseason from what I understand.
and he'll be in there sooner rather than later because Sam Bradford just completely stinks.
Absolutely.
But if they take Barkley at 1, I bet you the Giants would have traded.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Maybe Denver sneaks up in there and gets a quarterback. I don't know. Someone would have jumped in for a quarterback.
Speaking of Denver, Case Keenum, what do you think is going to go on? What do you think?
Case Keenum will have a better year than Kirk Cousins. How about that?
Woo!
How about that? Denver Broncos will win the AFC West and go to the playoffs with Case Keenum.
I like San Diego, but okay.
Every time San Diego gets right to the doorstep, Phillip Rivers throws 5 interceptions.
That is true. He's got
his whole career.
Yeah, he has done that. He's made a career of doing that.
They're not San Diego anymore. They're L.A.
Whatever.
We still like to call them San Diego.
They're the Chargers.
They're the Chargers.
They're the Bolts.
Greg Milikovic, also in our division in the A2D Fantasy Football League. Frank, you were too scared to join the East Division.
No, there were some reasons why I had to go over to the West.
You saw all the big names in the East Division.
Well, I was originally supposed to be
you got the hell out of there.
Well, I was supposed to be in that division, but just to help out the West a little bit, I had to move over there. So that's why I'm over in the West.
You got scared. You saw me, Tom, Brodo, Mataraki, Chucks.
I would have been really impressed if we did talent versus fans as divisions, but oh well. Maybe next year.
Well, you should have brought it. Well, it's hard to get in touch with Tom when he lives on an RV all summer.
Yeah.
Yes.
Plus, it is the first year of doing something like this, so.
Now I don't even understand how it works. Now we have these 2 leagues. We got divisions within the leagues, and then we have a culminating championship between the leagues.
Exactly.
I have no idea. Me and Brad will be there though.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll see you there. I don't know, but when we talk about it, we'll.
Should be if Melvin Gordon's going at the end of the second round of your draft.
Yeah.
Melvin Gordon was gone at the second round. That's a little early.
What do you mean? That's late.
That's
Melvin
pretty
Gordon's
late.
like a top 10 pick.
You think he's a top 10 pick?
Yeah. This is why I did the draft on Sunday night. Melvin Gordon's a beast.
No, I know he is.
Amazing.
I know he is. I know he is. But
he's gonna have 600-700 yards receiving on top of his.
Yeah, he picked it up. Last year.
If Baker doesn't try and do it all and lets his receivers do their thing, I think they are gonna be way better. I don't see it, Mike. I just don't see it with Cleveland.
We got Logic TV saying the Chargers. Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you. I think the Chargers win that division.
Deion Brown agrees that Joe Thomas, the first ballot Hall of Famer. Watch Landry's production dip a lot more than it did the last 2 seasons. What will Michael Kendrick have to say about his team then? It's a good question.
Yep, that is
I
right,
don't know
Parker.
I don't know why Michael Kendricks did that. That's such a stupid thing to say.
I think Michael Kendricks was looking for some attention.
Yeah, he
misses
saw the TV. He
Philadelphia.
saw HBO rolling.
He misses Philadelphia. He's mad. He's got an axe to grind because he's not here anymore. So he wants to say something and be outrageous.
He wasn't really an integral part to the Super Bowl success. I mean,
I know, but he still was there, and so he probably
he did.
He's
he
probably
did
still,
contribute to some of the big plays, though.
But
I know the one play against the Falcons in the
he is kind of a
the
legend in
playoff.
his own.
That was
he is kind of
basically
a legend in his own mind.
a great. It was a great move on him. I think he stopped one of the running backs in order from. I think it was the 4th and 1.
look, he's not an
It was
awful
the 4th and goal.
player.
He's not an awful player.
He's a role player.
He's a good role. He's a good role player, but we overpaid him. We overpaid him to be a role
Chip
player.
overpaid him.
Chip overpaid him. Yeah, that's right. It was not a Howie move. That was a total Chip move. That's right.
When they locked in the sleeping monitor on him during practice,
Yeah.
he tested through the roof, so he got a big contract.
Yeah.
By the way, Gleyber Torres
strong rim cycles.
just became the 6th Yankee to hit 20
Well,
home
good for
runs.
Gleyber Torres. I like
Six
Gleyber
guy.
Torres. He's a good ball player.
20 home. I
He's
mean,
on my dynasty baseball team, so
between
I'm
him
proud
and
of him.
Andujar, if you would have told me at the beginning of the season the two of them would have 41 home runs combined, I would have been laughing pretty hard about that one.
So
Definitely
you
didn't
got
see
to play.
that
You
one.
got to play Mike Parker in Week 1, is what I'm gathering from the chat.
I
here.
am playing Parker week
Okay,
1.
well that's a worthy adversary. I'll have to look during the break, or maybe right now. I'll have to pull up your division.
Yeah.
But I don't blame you for getting scared and going to the other division right away.
Are you calling him a LeBron?
Not
Took his
LeBron.
talents to the West. Are you scared to compete?
I wanted to compete with you guys, but
Do you have 4 MVP awards and 3 championship rings and don't like competing?
Oh
Just
my
the,
God!
the worst argument ever. LeBron daters can ever even fathom.
it's pretty funny. I did win
Mike
a fantasy
Parker
title.
thinks your side is a cakewalk.
Oh, with our
Final.
division, yeah.
Well,
we
are
have
there,
guys in the West with no bench QBs. We don't have a bench QB. You don't need a bench QB.
you could pick one up.
One backup running back.
you pick
That's
up-
bad. One backup running back's bad.
One backup running back is a
Hashtag
very-
amateur hour.
Yeah, that's not solid quality. That's not quality drafting. You've got to have at least.
But
4
yeah,
running
we only
Yes.
have one quarterback. We only have Matthew Stafford.
All right.
We'll pick someone up on his bye week.
Exactly. And you'll
Someone
pick
who
up somebody
played-
who's. You could probably pick up Darnold, a guy like that. I don't know if he was
We'll
drafted.
pick up someone who plays. We'll pick up whoever's playing the Browns.
There you
They're
go.
on waivers. 'Cause
There
they
you go.
stink, folks. They stink. Don't flush your money on the toilet. Don't bet over 6.5 games or 6 games, whatever it is right now. Bet the under. Because I just don't buy it with this talent. The
No.
infusion of talent. And I think Hugh Jackson's a moron.
Yeah, no, he.
It's funny because, like, I watched 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes of the first episode of Hard Knocks this season, and, like, everything clicked. Oh, that's why they suck. That's why they've won 1 game in 2 years. I mean, they're goofing off on the sidelines. They're cracking jokes. Like, they never practice. They hold guys out of practice for no reason. They don't do anything to
they're
try and get better. It's a joke.
Yeah, they're just. I would agree with you wholeheartedly about that. So, what other teams do you think are going to be real bad this year in the NFL?
I
Who
got
are
the
we looking for
Dolphins.
to be well, yeah, they're going to be
The
pathetic.
Dolphins stink.
So you know
Yeah.
what? You know what? Basically, you play whatever quarterback is playing the Dolphins.
That's not a bad strategy.
Can't lose that. Can't lose there.
Kyle Meager is bragging that he took Adrian Peterson in the 7th round of a competitive 10-person league. That's not a good pick.
Adrian Peterson.
It's a horrible pick. A 7th round?
Pass the Walker. Adrian Peterson is going to need a Walker.
Maybe we should have done that, Brad. Just guarantee our way into the championship.
No. No. Oh, you mean
taking Adrian
you mean
Peterson
championship
in the 7th round?
championship insurance? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Being in a weak division.
Yeah.
All right, Deion Brown, Eagles, Rams, Vikings, Saints, Atlanta, Carolina, Seahawks, all teams that will be contending come January. AFC, Pittsburgh, Houston, Tennessee, New England, Denver, as well in the AFC for contenders. I don't know what you see in the Seahawks, Deion. I see a franchise that is in complete
disarray.
chaos.
Yeah.
Complete disarray.
I think
complete
after
chaos.
this year, it's going to be it for Pete Carroll.
Yeah.
I have 2 sleeper teams.
By
in
the way,
NFC.
Logic TV wants to know, will the Vikings be better than last year?
No.
I think they are.
I don't.
No.
I just don't think.
I think that
Case
don't even
Keenum's
know.
better than Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins is a fraud.
we'll see.
He's a fraud. They're
This
going to
sounds
get
more like-
I just don't see enough movement for them. I think they'll not have enough
Frank,
wins.
I think that there's a little Viking hate in this room right now. I think that's kind of the issue.
I don't like the Vikings. You are right about that.
I could never
but
tell.
looking at it objectively and seriously, I don't think Kirk Cousins is that good. I just don't. No
Yeah,
one's really roasting me for the hot take in the
No.
chat.
Yeah.
No, you're right. Nobody's.
He's not that good. He's okay. And I totally disagree with both of you. I would take Alex Smith 10 times
No.
out of 10 over Kirk Cousins.
I don't like Alex Smith. Alex
I'm
Smith
not a
can
fan
run
of
though.
Alex Smith either.
He can run. I'll give him that.
And like I said, I don't. Who are his AFC picks here? I think Houston's overrated as well.
I like Houston. I think Houston
Houston's
takes the division.
a year away with.
Houston's always getting injured though.
Yeah. Barring injuries aside, I mean, I love the acquisition of the Honey Badger. I think Deshaun Watson coming back, he's gonna finish what he started.
I don't like
his
their
rookie
running
season.
game.
I like
I don't
Lamar
know.
Miller.
I don't like Lamar. Lamar
You can
Miller.
have
I
him.
mean, he's just not. He's not. He doesn't scare me. What about the Baltimore Ravens?
They're an 8-8 team.
Yeah.
A lot of people are picking them to win the division.
I mean, no. The
no.
Steelers.
I think the Steelers.
I mean, it's
going to
be a different year. It's going to be the same story in the AFC. I mean,
have the Steelers.
excuse me, it
upgraded
wasn't
their,
the Steelers versus the Patriots in the AFC Championship game last year. So I have
Had
to
the
backtrack
Steelers
that a little bit.
upgraded their defense enough to not give up 45 points to the Jacksonville Jaguars?
Yeah, but I mean, if you want to say, I mean,
What a disgrace! How do you give up 40?
it's a bad loss.
points to that team.
Yeah.
And how do you score?
And
first
especially
of all,
at
how do you
Hi-
score? And
at
how do you
Heinz
score?
Field.
And how do you score 42 points against the Jacksonville
Yeah.
Jaguars? What a great offense!
Yeah.
I mean, they should have won that game. They should have won that game 42-7, scoring that many points.
Oh yeah.
Here's a
I mean,
question
come
for you,
on.
Mike Parker. Could Dez Bryant sign with the Jags since Lee is down for the year? Yes. Dez Bryant is going to be on the team within the next 7 days, I would imagine. I think he's going to be on the Patriots. He could sign with the Jaguars. I think the Niners could use him. I think the Jets could use him. I think Cleveland could use him. Dez Bryant's going to have a job, and he's probably going to have
I
a pretty
agree.
good season.
Okay, we have TTP,
So-
Valen.
To answer Mike's question, yes, I think that would be a wise move for the Jaguars. Brad,
He
go ahead,
agrees
sorry.
that Kirk Cousins is not as good as Case Keenum. So you have
I got
somebody
to
that backs you. So David Roska, Case Keenum, and all quarterbacks from the Vikings should stay. Now, I think you
What?
guys
Read
get
that
it.
again?
He says, I'm not sure I understand it. Case Keenum
Yeah,
and
no.
all quarterbacks from the Vikings should stay. Should stay where?
I don't get it.
Maybe that Case Keenum should have stayed as a Viking.
I-
That and as well as Bradford and Bridgewater. I think
I-
I think that's what I'm getting from that.
Listen, Case
I'm not
Keenum,
100% sure with
Case
that.
Keenum played well last year. I'm not going to.
Yeah, he definitely surprised.
Yeah, but I mean, Case Keenum is one of those guys. He has to play within himself. He's not. He. I disagree strongly. I I think Cousins is a real good quarterback. I think you guys are going to see just how good he is.
What if the Eagles sign Dez? What if they throw? What if they throw? What if they throw Jeffrey on that pup list, and then sign Dez?
I don't see it happening.
Why?
I mean, as much as I would like to see it
Can
out
Dez
of
Bryant still
pettiness,
play?
but I just don't think it'll happen.
Can he still play though?
I think he's good for a good season this year because he's going to be embarrassed and butthurt that he got cut. Hell, I would if I'm the Cowboys, I would reach back out to him and say, "Here, you could play for our team. Our receivers stink, but you got to play for our price."
I mean, I find it astounding that
He should be on a team.
Yeah, that's.
Oh yeah,
He should be on a
should
team.
definitely be
I mean,
on a
what
team.
is going on
Yeah.
that he's not on a team? I mean, is he that?
Because he's a jackass.
Is he that big of a pain in the neck that nobody would sign him?
Well,
Terrell Owens got
right,
a million
but,
chances.
I mean,
I'm not saying he's as good as Terrell Owens, but Des
but
Bryant.
Des Bryant wasn't good last year.
No,
he
he
dropped the ball. He ran bad routes.
He had a bad year.
Barked his mouth.
He
He
had a
got his
bad
ass
year.
cut.
Yeah, I know he did. He was making too much money. I mean,
Real bad teams. Deion Brown's real bad teams. Colts, Miami, Tampa, Chargers,
Oh, he does like Rivers.
Cleveland, Buffalo, Jets, Dallas, Arizona. See, now, I don't agree with that. Arizona finishes second in the West.
I do not like Arizona at all.
Can
The
you-
O-line's
can
pretty
you tell
bad.
Can you tell me if David Johnson's going to play this year?
He is going to
He
play
is-
this year.
Yeah,
Yeah,
is he gonna
Johnson's
stay
gonna
healthy?
play.
Is he going?
I mean,
is he
he's-
going to? Is he going to stay healthy? Is Rosen going to play?
Look, David Johnson had a freak wrist injury last year.
I know he did.
His lower body is fine. He's going to be David Johnson's
David
going to be
Johnson
fine.
is a
He's
very,
He's
very
gonna be
talented
great.
player. I agree.
But can the O-line help him out? That's
And
the
is
other
the
thing.
defense? Can the
I also
defense
say
still
this because I don't
play
think
at
the
a high
NFC
level?
West is very good.
Can the defense still play at a high level though?
Yeah, even without the Honey Badger, it's gonna be tough for the Cardinals
I mean,
defense.
their
You still have Patrick Peterson, but
Yeah, but their defense has been getting worse and worse every year.
yeah,
I mean, I don't see it getting any. I mean, they have a little infusion of youth, but not a lot of it.
yeah, I think, and you just don't know with Josh Rosen because he's another concussion away from
He's also a rookie. You just
Yeah,
don't
he's a
know how
rookie.
he's gonna. I mean, I think Seattle's going to be a bad team. I think Russell Wilson's
Seattle's
going to
be average at best,
They're going to be running. He's going to be running for his life.
and probably like some midpoint, some point near midseason. There's
He'll
going to
get
be a
hurt.
lot of drama coming out about the Seahawks and all
Yeah.
that. It's just going to
I
be
mean,
the
Richard
big
Sherman-
distraction.
Richard Sherman's gone.
Yeah, Sherman's gone.
I mean,
Yeah, almost everybody.
I
Bruce Irvin's gone.
is Chandler still on the team?
Chancellor.
Cam Chancellor. I'm sorry.
No, he retired.
He retired.
retired
So
with a
he's-
neck injury.
So he's gone. I mean,
Yeah,
really, the
the
Legion
Yellow
of Boom
Beans.
is gone.
Yeah,
Legion of Boom is gone. I don't know. I mean, can
Michael
Pete
Bennett's
Carroll,
gone.
Can Pete Carroll
Yeah,
get another group to play at the same level as this last group? Because
I-
he's basically going to
yeah.
have a whole new group. Do you have that much faith in Pete Carroll?
No.
I don't have much faith in Pete Carroll. I think he resigns and finds a college job. He goes back to college. Where, to be exact, I have no idea.
Well, the only reason he's in the NFL to begin with is because he
Ohio
got caught
State.
with his hand.
Yeah,
He got his hand
Because
caught
he
in the
was
cookie
a
jar with
cheater at
USC.
USC.
yeah.
Well, Ohio State should be absolutely ashamed of themselves.
Yeah.
For Urban Meyer to have a job is an absolute disgrace to society.
Absolutely.
it
That's
really is.
basically a slap on the wrist.
If Joe Paterno got fired for way less
right.
than what Urban Meyer did,
Oh, I don't know about that. I mean, Jerry Sandusky is in.
yeah, but that's Jerry
yeah.
Sandusky. That's not Joe Paterno.
It's not Joe
No, that's
Pa.
true. That's true, but he knew about it. He kept
Right,
his
but
mouth
he
shut.
reported what he thought was going on to the higher ups, and the higher ups covered it up.
Okay. All right. I mean,
So
listen,
so says
I
so
mean, I
say
love-
the reports.
I listen. I love Paterno, so I'm not gonna sit here and badmouth a coach that I really.
but I mean, Urban Meyer is the definition of a crumb.
no, he's a creep.
Absolute
he's really
creep.
a creep. I mean,
He bails on Florida after Tebow
Yeah.
Tebow graduates because
Yep.
he looks around at his quarterback room without Tim Tebow and says, "I gotta get the fuck out of here because we're gonna suck because I can't recruit." So he makes up the bullshit that he wants to spend time with his family and he has a heart condition and all that bullshit. And then Ohio State comes at him with a big check
Right.
and, a recruiting hotbed in Ohio. I mean, Ohio State's higher up the prestige level than Florida.
Mm-hmm.
It's way easier to recruit to Ohio State than it is Florida.
I would say so.
Now he's allegations and
the
this
three games he's suspended for. I mean, they're playing those 3 games. It's all cupcakes.
Oregon State,
Rutgers,
a real cup. Is it Rutgers?
Yeah, Rutgers
game
is
2
in
because the third game's TCU, which is
Rutgers, TCU, and Oregon State. Oh, boy. I mean, 3 cupcakes. I mean, it's not like they're playing anybody good. God, it would be so great if Rutgers could give them a scare. Oh man!
And then he lied. He lied to everyone at Media Day,
At
Big Ten Media Day. He just lied. He thought, I'm Urban Meyer. I'm the coach of Ohio State. I can't get in trouble for anything. And then did you see his apology? I mean, holy smokes! I mean, clearly it was.
He's a freaking disgrace.
Clearly, it was not written by him. It was written by his manager, his lawyer, whoever. He's looking down the whole time.
It was pretty robotic.
Robotic is a great way to describe.
It was robotic.
What it was.
I mean, there was no. You could see there was no sense of.
How about the poor woman that got the shit kicked out of her by his assistant coach? He makes no mention of her. No apology to her.
None.
And he wants to say, "Oh well, the guy's grandpa mentored me, so I went easy on him."
Yeah, right. Okay, so that's a reason to ignore domestic abuse. Come on.
No, because he thought he was above the law, and he thought he could just push it under the rug and it would be okay.
I mean, what he did
because he thinks Zach Smith was a good football coach.
What he did is as bad as what Rick Pitino did. Sorry. I gotta call it like it is.
And those guys at Tom Izzo and
scumbag.
D'Antoni, the head basketball coach and head football coach at Michigan State, they shouldn't have jobs either.
No.
With that Larry Nasser allegations and all those Michigan State basketball players being charged of domestic violence and sexual assault, the football team the same. I mean. Boy, the Big Ten.
It just goes to show.
The Big Ten has a huge black eye on it.
Kyle Flood, who used to coach Rutgers,
right?
When he did. I think he did Leonte Caruso wrote one of his term papers. Okay, they ended up firing him when they found that out. That was one of the reasons they fired him for that. And a couple of the kids that were breaking into houses. You know what? They got kicked off the team. And they fired Flood. You know what? Rutgers actually did the right thing there.
Right, but this is why Ohio State wins and Rutgers doesn't.
Because they actually play by the rules.
Right, that's why Rutgers can't win. They play by the rules.
The school has too much integrity, and that's unfortunate. But, I mean, what also it goes to show is if you're a winning
in Ohio
coach,
State, the last guy was a complete creep too. Jim Tressel.
I remember him. He was another one.
He was another creep.
Yeah,
I think
Ohio State's coaches have always been. I mean, it goes all the way back to Woody Hayes sticking his foot out to try to trip guys.
He punched a guy.
Yeah,
he punched a player on Michigan.
Well, he also somebody on USC I think was returning an interception.
Maybe it was USC,
for a
not Michigan.
No, somebody was returning a ball for a touchdown on USC. He went and stuck his leg out to try to trip the guy.
But
I mean, this is Ohio State at its finest.
But I mean, I think Ohio State should be ashamed of themselves. I think the Big Ten should be ashamed of themselves. I think the NCAA should be ashamed of themselves.
Well, believe me, if they're not ashamed of themselves after all the other crap that's going on, nothing's going to change.
When is enough, though?
Well, listen, they're going to keep cheating, and that's
when is enough? When is the NCAA's duty to step in and say, "Yo, Ohio State,
until they actually
this was not good. This is not how we want our organization representative. You have to hire that guy, or you're not going to a bowl game for 3 years."
Until they grow a set of balls, it's not going to happen. And they basically, if you're good, they turn their backs. They don't want to know about it. If you're bad, then they'll throw the book at you because then that's that's their chance to make a stand. So
and then
they're hypocrites.
and then they'll penalize kids that, like, they'll penalize the 2018 team because of what happened in 2008.
Yeah, which has one thing really should have nothing to do with the other.
Right.
I mean, it's a disgrace, but that's what they do. I mean,
But no, well, that's my take on Ohio State and the Big Ten.
yeah, you're not wrong about that. They
Let's see
really
if I missed anything on the chat during our.
Yeah, I was taking a look-see, and they were talking about the Foles jersey on the wall. Apparently-
Shows how interested they were in the Ohio State.
Nah,
portion of the
somebody like randomly commented and saying
What's
it's
wrong
like
with it?
apparently he didn't like one of the viewers did not like the numbers on it, but because the Eagles were
isn't
winning,
that the Army?
yeah, I think it's the Army. That or it's just the reflection on the wall. Well, I don't want to check, but I think it's an Army.
Why is
jersey.
that Dr. J jersey hanging in the studio when it's signed by Dr. J? Unless it's fake signing.
No, it's real sign. There's some.
What the fuck?
smudging.
no. There's a Jim Spence authorization right here.
Yeah.
So that's not. I have one of those, except mine is.
What is the guy?
Mine is
Yeah,
the,
they were talking
I
amongst
have a Julius
themselves.
Erving jersey, except the only difference is mine is actually a New York Nets jersey from 1976.
Nice.
It was a
That's a good item.
throwback.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's signed.
What is the Godfather doing? Why would he have that hanging up in the studio?
Well, why not?
We need to invest in some cases.
He needs to
We
put
should,
this-
we should
he
get
needs
some
to put
cases
this in
for
a
those.
case, though.
At least preserve it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Mine's in a framed case.
It's a Bernie Perrant sign guy too.
Yep. Also authenticated by Jim
JSA?
Spen- JSA.
James Spence authorization.
And
And Parker gave it. He donated it.
what?
Yeah. Well, the Irving jersey.
And then
Not sure about the Perrant.
And then we get some chatter about the. Chris
Oh,
Webber.
both Irving and Perrant.
Well, Mike Parker's a nicer man than me then. And the Chris Webber jersey's a joke.
So I guess my
I
autographed Lawrence
hated
Taylor
Chris
jersey
Webber.
wouldn't work in here.
Chris Webber
No.
was such a. He was such a.
He was a dog with
It was
the
so
Eagles.
underwhelming.
I'm sorry, with the Sixers. He was a dog.
He was a dog with the Sixers.
He was a
Yeah.
dog with. He played his guts out with
Oh.
Sacramento. But boy, when he came
That's
here,
right. I actually remember
He was a
when all
dog.
that happened with the Perrant jersey. James Wilder helped pay for it as well.
Bernie does sign a lot of autographs,
Yeah.
by the way. So, but that's still it's a nice item. It's a nice item.
Phillies now down 4-2, bottom of the fifth at Citizens Bank Park. Disappointing weekend for the boys.
Yep.
Yeah, Zach Eflin continues to struggle.
Saturday was real bad. To be up 5-0 and have the Blue Jays dead to rights. I mean,
That was very painful to
The
watch.
Toronto Blue Jays are a bad baseball team.
Like there should be no excuses to give up a
I mean,
5-run lead
Their closer,
to a lowly Toronto team. Makes no
their closer
sense.
is stinky, smelly, pathetic Tyler Clippard. You're telling me you couldn't score some runs against stinky
Yeah.
Tyler Clippard?
And especially it's a pitcher that the Phillies have been familiar with for years, with all those years in Washington.
Yeah, I mean, all the guy does is throw changeups.
Yeah.
And his 75-mile-an-hour fastball. And boy, how much did I hate him when he was on the Yankees? Did I ever stop complaining?
no.
Oh my God, I was screaming about Tyler Clippard.
You complain about a lot. You complain a lot about the Yankees.
Yeah, well, yeah.
How about your Yankees? The Red Sox have fallen on some hard times.
The Red Sox got beat up by that Tampa Bay machine, who at home is really good. I mean, apparently it's not just the Yankees that can't beat them at home. I think they swept the Astros too, didn't they?
I'd have to look it up.
I think they swept the Astros at home, and
They're
I think
pests. They're
yeah,
pests, that's for sure.
They really are. They're. Listen, that manager Cash. If he's not manager of the year, I mean, maybe the Oakland guy gets it, but I think Cash gets it because that team really I mean, at the beginning of the season, we were just saying how many major league players do they have? We thought that they had less major league talent than the Marlins. And
Well,
yet-
that's proven to be not true.
no. Well, there's one obvious.
Malik Smith is a good player. Jake Bowers is a good player.
Absolutely.
They have Pham now. Snell is obviously a Cy Young candidate.
Snell is fabulous.
Sergio Ramos having a great season at the back of there. So we were a little off base on that.
Yeah, Matt Duffy is close to hitting 300.
Duffy. Well, all those middle infielders that they have that we never heard of before the season. Joey Wendell.
Right.
Daniel-
CJ Cron has 24 home runs. I mean, did you see that coming?
No.
Uh,
Who's it? Wendell Robertson.
Daniel Robertson. He's on the DL now, but I mean, that team is really playing
all those
well.
guys we scoffed at before the season, they're actually not
And to
that.
think that-
They're
to
actually
think that
not
they're-
that bad.
To think that their best outfielder hadn't even played till just recently came back, Kevin Kiermaier. I mean,
He is a Gold Glove caliber outfielder.
he can hit too. He killed the Red Sox this weekend.
And they got Pham from the Cardinals.
Yeah, that's an interesting pickup for them. You know, he's going to play every day with them.
As he should.
Yeah,
I
I mean-
didn't really understand why the Cardinals bailed on him, but they did.
Well, the Cardinals, I'm not going to question anything the Cardinals are doing because you know what? The Cardinals right now are on fire. They're
They
playing
they
great
have
baseball right
Played
now.
themselves into a wild card spot.
Yep. Although I just wonder, in a big game with that their ace pitcher being injured and being in the bullpen, who's going to pitch a playoff game for them, you think?
Mikolas.
Mikolas? Okay.
Yeah, he's been great. If I had to pick if I had to pick right now who was going to represent the National League in the World Series,
Be tough to do.
it'd be tough not to pick the Cardinals. No, they're on fire. I
They
do
are
think
playing
I
great
do think it's
baseball.
ultimate. I picked the Rockies in the beginning of the year, but I think Arizona might be going to the World Series in the National League.
You know, Arizona, I think, is the most well-rounded team. As far as I don't think they have a specific weakness. You know what I'm saying? Like they're strong, they're good in everything. They don't have really a complete weakness on their team. Colorado's obviously can hit better than Arizona, but they can't pitch better than Arizona. The Dodgers, I just don't know what to make out of them. I mean, they're
They're not going to make the playoffs.
yeah,
They're not good.
They've been underachieving, even with Manny Machado. I mean, and Manny Machado has been hitting the ball. They're not getting it. They're not getting the job done.
They just
There's something.
they're not
missing.
putting it together.
Yeah, there's something missing there. You know, and then you've got Atlanta
The
and
Cubs
the
got
Phillies.
Daniel Murphy from the Nationals.
I think that's a very good acquisition for them.
But
Well,
I don't see.
Where's he going to play? By the way, he can hit the ball, but where's he going to play? Isn't Daniel Murphy a
Second.
second baseman and a first baseman? Doesn't Baez play second, or is he playing short now?
Well, Russell's been bad. and
Russell's on the DL now.
he's on the DL, but he's been bad.
Who's playing short for them now? Baez.
Baez.
Oh, okay, so Murphy's going to play second
And
then.
then they got that Bodie guy at third base, and LaStalla, Chris Bryant.
Tommy LaStella.
Chris Bryant is on a rehab starting tomorrow.
Well, that's good news for the Cubs.
That's good news for the Cubs.
And that's good news for your fantasy team, Rob.
That is.
'Cause
Chris
you'll be
Bryant
getting
has
him
been
back.
on my DL for.
You'll be getting him back just in time for the fantasy league playoffs. Because his bat should be ready to go.
Hopefully, if he can swing. I mean,
Yeah, well, if he doesn't have a setback. And by the way, I was hearing today that Gary Sanchez and Didi Gregorius will be back Monday when the Yankees head out west. Still no word on Aaron Judge. Still no timetable, which is, unfortunate because they have about as big a black hole in their lineup without him as I've ever seen. I mean, it's gaping. When you think about the fact that Shane Robinson is out there playing instead of Aaron Judge, that's really kind of a big difference. And it's not just the hitting; it's the fielding too. Because I mean, Aaron Judge, when fly balls are hit to right field, guys on third base, they don't try to score unless it's a very deep fly ball.
not on Judge, no.
No, on Shane Robinson or Neil Walker, they're running on everything. Everybody
Walker,
goes
I
to
mean.
first. Everybody goes from first to third. I mean, well, Neil Walker actually since the middle of June has been hitting about 290. So he's been,
I understand
he's
Neil
been
Walker
playing
can
better.
hit, but he
He's
When
playing
he ever
right
played
field.
the outfield?
Never. They have nobody else. That's the problem. I mean, they went and traded. They traded Rich. They traded Billy McKinney, which was really unfortunate. Who would have thought that he'd be playing as well as he is for Toronto right now? I never saw that. I mean, they've let all these outfielders go, and then Clint Frazier gets a concussion.
All right.
So
we
they have no
we
outfielders
gotta hold the
now.
phone. We gotta take a break. HD Radio, Sports Hounds, continue our baseball chat after the break. All right, welcome back to the Real Talk Studios, A2D Radio, Mount E from New Jersey. Rob Brinkman, Brad Ryer, Frank Vesby, with you till 10 o'clock with the Sports Hounds. Just to clean up some of our Facebook chat before it went offline, I am paraphrasing here, but I believe it was Deion Brown, very, very displeased with the Phillies as of late. I can't blame him. He wants Trout, Harper in the offseason, at least one of them. Guys, I hate to break it to Phillies fans, but Mike Trout is not coming here unless the Phillies trade for him. Why would you ever let him hit the open market if you're the Angels?
The only way he'll hit the open market is if he doesn't want to play in LA anymore.
Which, if that happens, he would force a trade.
Right. Or he'd play out his option.
You can't get nothing for Mike Trout if he doesn't finish his career as an Angel.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see that happening. Harper, Harper, it depends on. I mean,
I want Bryce Harper.
Yeah, TT
I
Valen
want-
wants to know if Harper's going to be a Philly next year.
I hope so. I would sign Bryce Harper over Manny Machado. I want that lefty bopper in right field for the next 10, 15 years.
He's young enough to, I don't know about 15, but he's definitely young enough to give a 10-year contract.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, you get my point.
Oh, yeah. No. Listen,
But Machado, I mean, the Dodgers got him, and they look really like the sexy pick for a while there in the National League out west, but they haven't put it all together at all. I mean, Machado's been okay
and
out
they
there.
they went and got Dozier too.
They got Dozier. So I don't know, but Machado. I mean, Machado gives you more in the field, no doubt about it. But
Machado is a big time hitter.
He's a big time stick, but Harper's a big time stick too. I can't.
He's not having a great year this year, though.
I can't look at Nick Williams and Rhys Hoskins at my corner outfield spots. I can't. And Hoskins is not going anywhere. And I love Hoskins' stick, but
yeah, but you could hide him in left field. That's okay to do that.
But no, you can't. We just watched the game where the ball went under his glove because he has no range. He's not a good left fielder. He shouldn't be in left field at all.
Well, the Phillies went and gave all that money to a first baseman.
And
so, I mean,
one of the only ones at this station that said that was a horrible signing.
You've been down on that signing
since it happened.
Yep, you have.
And I've been spot on.
Here comes Mr. Kumbaya to take out
Kapler.
Yes.
Oh, I can't wait to hear. Let me pose this question. I mean, Frank, this is more a question for you since
Yes.
Brad probably watches more New York
All right.
press conferences than Philadelphia press conferences. What's more annoying after an excruciating, mind-numbing Philadelphia loss? Was it an Andy Reid press conference where he would just go up there and say, you know, that's on me. I got to do a better job, this, that, and the other. That's my fault. That's my fault. Coaches weren't ready.
Yeah.
No, this guy's always
McNabb went out there, threw up, threw
Right.
5 picks, but that's on me. I got to do a better job. Or Kapler's happy-go-lucky, kumbaya.
He's too. Kapler's way too calm and collected.
We're smashing the baseball. It's just getting caught by everyone.
Yeah.
Shut up.
That does not fly. I mean, if it
For
was
me, it's Kapler.
it has to be
Kapler's
Kapler.
terrible.
I'm not saying he's terrible, but
No, I mean his press conferences after something clearly awful happens, a bad loss, a bad play, he made a mistake, whatever.
right. That's
His explanations for that in his
it's ridiculous.
conference are they make me so mad.
I mean, it's infuriating to watch, but
And
it's a little bit different from what I've seen from other managers because of just the cool, calm nature of him. But yeah, I hear you. It's pretty annoying after excruciating loss after excruciating loss.
I mean, they were never in this game. They were down from the start. They're down 5-2 now.
They're
So
bringing
it's just
another
like a loss, but
they're bringing in another pitcher.
let me get a little positive on the Phillies. 15 of their next 21 are at home. They are a phenomenally good team at home. And, guys, the Braves aren't that good. I don't trust the Braves at all. If they don't have Ronald Acuna Jr. go on that silly power surge where he hit, what did he hit, a home run in 5 straight games?
Yep. Here's another thing.
And he's hitting the ball out of the ballpark at an alarming rate.
Here's another thing, Rob. They are going to be playing 3 games against the Boston Red Sox, and you guys are done playing the Red Sox.
Right, we're at 15. We have the Cubs coming up, which is a hard series, but the rest is Marlins.
Yeah,
Mets,
your schedule is not bad.
15 of 21 at home.
Although the Mets have given the Phillies a lot of trouble this year.
I mean, I can't really disagree with that. They just took 3 out of 5 at home with us, but
those are games that they got to. I mean, those are games that the Phillies need to win, though.
15 of 21 at home.
Listen,
and then they close the season. They have 4 in Atlanta. Then they'll go out to Colorado.
Oh boy,
at Colorado, rough. And then they'll finish up at home against the Braves. So
that's not easy. That's not easy.
So 7 of their last 11 are head-to-head against the Braves.
And then 4 in Coors Field.
4 in Coors Field. Rockies are good, but they're not unbeatable.
Yeah, but wouldn't you rather be playing a crappy team? I can think of a lot of other teams. I can think of a lot of other teams I'd rather play than them in that field.
Well, they have crappy teams on their schedule at home leading up to that. So, I mean,
they have a lot of division games, do they not? The Phillies?
The Phillies are 41 and 22 at home and 29 and 38 on the road. So talk about a Dr. Jekyll of Mr. Hyde team.
They don't hit on the road.
Well, they haven't been really hitting at home lately either, but be that as it may, 41 and 22 at home, 15 of 21 at home. They just got to keep it together.
All right,
for
so they
those head-to-head games at Atlanta at the end of September.
Those 15 games, they've got to at least, at bare bones minimum, go 10-5.
Let me pull up the schedule. Hold on.
They got to at least go 10-5. I mean, am I wrong about that, or?
No, you're not wrong.
At least 10-5. I mean, I think they should. I think to win the division, they may have to do more than that.
This is August. So the rest of August, they have 3 at home against the Nationals, and then they have 3 at home against the Cubs. Cubs is a hard game. They should take 2 of 3 from the Nationals. This is obviously not the greatest start. Then they are at Miami. They are at the Mets. They are home against Washington. They are home against the Marlins. So leading up to a 4-game showdown in Atlanta, September 20th to 23rd, they have the Nationals for 3 at home, an off day, the Marlins for 3 at home, and then the Mets for 3 at home. That's got to be a 6-3 stretch.
Should be better than that, actually.
But the Phillies aren't. They're not the best team.
No,
you can't. Should they maybe pull a 7-2 off there? Yeah, probably. They should probably sweep either the Marlins or the Mets.
Yeah, the Marlins you definitely need to sweep. The Mets, yeah, they had their issues in the last series against them. Those two are extremely important when you're going into that final series.
That's so
against
easy
the Braves.
to sweep the Mets, though.
Yeah.
Not if you have to face DeGrom and
then,
Syndergaard.
And then September 13th is their last off day of the season. So then they're going to go 2, 9. 9 and 7 is 16. 17 straight days of baseball after September 13th. Got to win these home games.
The home games have to be important.
Especially
those games against the Braves.
Got to take 2 or 3 at the Mets. You just have to do it. If you want to play baseball, you got it.
You have to.
They have to win that series.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can count on a 3-game sweep. I mean,
not on the road.
No, and if you have to face DeGrom, obviously that's not going to be easy either.
There's a little side note on the match. Did you see Steven Matz's pitching line yesterday?
Steven Matz pitched a gem.
Steven Matz went 7 1/3, let up 1 run.
1 run.
Left losing 1-0. The Mets bullpen managed to make
He gave up 2 touchdowns.
15-0 they lost after their starter gave them 7 1/3 shutout innings. How is that possible? Have you ever seen anything like that before?
I don't even know.
No, that's
That's like impossible.
That's
It's like something out of a video game.
15-0. I mean, 15-0, and oh, jeez. I'll tell you what. Didn't they lose to the Didn't the Nationals beat them
25. They put a 25 spot.
They
on.
did,
25
yeah.
to 4?
And then
beat
they
'em
put 24 on the Phillies.
Yeah, and then the Mets. But yeah,
But let's not panic, Phillies fans. Like, this team is still right in the thick of it.
They're still in the race. I
Okay,
mean,
we
it's,
have-
it's not. It's
we have
no
Sixers
time
J.
to pull the plug
we
right
have
now.
Sixers JT. Very, very disappointed in the Phillies. We might trade another prospect for a washed-up Jose Batista. Hoskins proved he should
hold
be
on.
at first. Hang on, I'm just reading
Yeah.
the rest of his stuff. We are pursuing. Let's see. He likes Santana, but nothing against him. But he wants him traded so that they could pursue Bryce or Machado, and he wants to know who we like for the Cy Young for both the National and American League.
Okay, a lot to chew on there. First off, don't worry about the prospect they're going to give up for Jose Batista,
Probably-
if that even happens.
It's
gonna
probably
be,
it's probably somebody like outside of the top.
it's
30.
going to be nothing.
Or it could be like your your number 3 catcher, because the Mets are desperate for a catcher right now.
I'll take Andrew Knapp to Flushing myself.
That's probably what you're looking at.
Cool.
So I would.
So I went Sixers JT. I wouldn't worry about the prospect that goes to the New York if that trade does come to fruition. Hoskins, yeah, I mean, I said this when they signed him. I've been saying it all year, how bad of a signing giving Carlos Santana $20 million a year was. Because you made, I don't know what kind of analytics you subscribe to that makes both first base and left field worse from a defensive perspective. And you can't trade Santana unless you're going to eat some money, a lot of money, because no one wants to trade for a 220 hitter that makes $20 million a year. Doesn't happen.
No.
You're stuck with Santana. The Santana contract shouldn't prevent them from going star hunting in the offseason because their payroll is minuscule based on what it possibly could be with all that Comcast money.
If they can bring someone in, they probably will. I mean, if any of these stars want to play
Harper.
here, if any of these stars want to play here, then they have the money to get him.
10 years, $350 for Harper. You think that gets it done, or you think he's going to get more than that?
I mean, honestly, I think Harper is going to re-sign with the Nationals, but that could get it done. That could get it done. Machado keeps saying he wants to play for the Yankees, but where is Machado going to play?
Third.
You're going to just ship out Andujar?
No, you put him at first.
Okay. I guess he could play first base. Why not? You could teach him. I mean, the guy's a 300
Guy
hitter.
mashes.
Yeah, I know. You can't get rid of Andujar. That's for sure.
All right, Phillies are cooking here in the bottom of the 6th.
Oh no!
But he just made the first out at third base. Is that Scott Kingery? Send him home.
Oh,
That's
boy.
such bullshit. That's
40.
awful base running. That's absolutely terrible. How do you get thrown out of third for the first out? No, it's not Scott Kingery. It's Wilson Ramos. Good
Why would you
God
send-
almighty.
Why would you send a slow catcher? Oh boy. That's not smart baseball.
Oh, my God. That's a mortal sin.
You can't
Making
do
the
that.
first
He's
out
not even
at
running.
third base.
Look at how slow he is running. It looks like he's jogging. I mean, if that guy's slow, why would you? Oh boy! Wow, that's not good baseball.
All right, Sixers JT. AL and NL Cy Young.
All right, NL. I have to go with DeGrom, and I've had a lot of arguments with the Philly fans about this, but
Aaron Nola has some.
yeah, but a 1.71 ERA is.
I agree with
0.4
you.
of a
It
point.
should be DeGrom. 1.71 ERA.
That's exceptional.
Noah's 15-3, and his strikeout.
He has less strikeouts than DeGrom.
He
though.
does, but
But
he's
see,
striking
to
out.
Me, strikeouts aren't that important. To
he's
me,
striking out more players now than he did in April and May and June. So his strikeouts are rising. He pitched an absolute gem when the Phillies absolutely needed it against Max Scherzer in an afternoon
Yes,
game
he did.
down there. So
yes, he did. But you can't
I mean-
argue. You can't argue with DeGrom. I mean, 1.71. I mean, his record is
1.71 ERA. His strikeout to walk ratio is ridiculous. His WHIP is ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, it's not his fault he's 8-8. I mean, that team just stinks. Their bullpen, as you saw against Washington yesterday, is disgracefully bad. They can't hit at all. I mean, the Mets are a horrible team. I mean, try to look at it this way, Rob. Pitchers who have great ERAs sometimes do lose a lot of games. I mean, Bob Gibson, the year in 1968 when he had a 1.12 ERA, he was 22-9. I mean, he lost 9 games. I mean, the Cardinals.
It happens.
The Cardinals
And
lost a lot of 1-0 games that year.
I don't want to say wins don't mean anything when it comes to measuring the Cy Young candidate, because they do.
They do.
But
I mean,
it means it's diminished.
I think ERA is
As
I
opposed
just
to
think
the way it
ERA is
used
the
to be.
most. I think the ERA is the most telling statistic is how many earned runs are given up
And DeGrom is almost a half run better
right now. But
than
we still have-
Scherzer.
But we still have another month to go.
Noah
So-
has 7 stars. What if Noah gets to 20 wins? With the 2.2 ERA and
Let's see him do it first.
okay, he's got 7 starts left.
And he's got 15.
His next
innings
start, ironically, is going to be against Max Scherzer at
here.
Citizens Bank Park.
That's tomorrow night.
It's tomorrow night. That's correct.
That's a big start.
And the Phillies are in the same. Look at that. Look at that pop up. They just were just cooking, and now they're not. Unbelievable. What about the AL, Brad? More your area of expertise. Severino was cooking for a while.
Yeah, but his ERA is too high now. He had a rough stretch. He's 17. He's 17-5, but his ERA is like 3.18, so I can't give it to him. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I think I would give it to Snell.
Yeah?
I mean, just
Over Sale.
Sale's been on the DL twice now.
Snell missed some time, too, though.
Yeah, he was on the DL once with a dead arm, but look at how he's pitched, and he doesn't have the nearly the support. You could give it to Sale too. I mean, I wouldn't make a big argument against Sale either. I mean, I guess you could give it to Sale because
Blake Snell is 16-5,
ERA.
2.05, 2.05.
Okay, and
He has 168 strikeouts in 145 innings, which is ridiculous. And he has a .99 WHIP.
And Chris Sale is pretty darn good too.
Corey Kluber would be on the ballot as well. He deserves to be discussed.
Yeah, but he's not. He's not. I wouldn't put him. I wouldn't put him in the.
I mean, Chris
Sale.
Sale is 12-4. He has a 1.97 ERA. He has 219 strikeouts in 146 innings with a .84 WHIP.
Yeah, I guess you got to give
That's
it to Sale.
significantly better than what I just read.
Yeah, you got to give
That's
it to Sale.
scary how good that is, because that was a lot of good stats I just read for Blake Snell. And Chris Sale just blew
Chris
him
Sale
out,
blows
out of
him
the
out of the
water.
water. Okay, I'll give it to Sale. Sale's been that good.
Let me get Kluber up here. just for,
Kluber is not in that class this year. Kluber's has had some rough outings. I'd be shocked if his ERA was in the Sale
it's
area.
a 2.9. He's 16-7, a 2.91 ERA.
2.91 is very good.
He has 172 strikeouts in 179 innings.
Now that pales in comparison.
Pales in comparison. He does not have 9 strikeouts.
No,
At least 9 strikeouts per 9 innings.
He doesn't average a strikeout an inning.
For me, I can't cast a ballot for a guy who doesn't strike out at least a guy per inning over 162 game stretch for Cy Young, unless a closer is in the mix. But even they should have.
Closers should have a strikeout in an inning.
They should. And Corey Kluber has a .98 WHIP, so it's by far Chris Sale.
Corey Kluber is not bad, but he's just not as good as Chris Sale.
No, and
Blake
that's
Snell
correct.
is not bad either. I just
so
can't.
it'd be Sale, Snell, Kluber.
Yeah,
for me.
right now. So right now we would both probably say, right now I think Sale is lock, stock, and barrel in the American League. The National League, you can have the discussion about Scherzer, Nola, and DeGrom. But personally, my favorite statistic is ERA, and ERA is the ERA for both Sale and DeGrom are significantly better than the rest of the league. And
then Verlander, just to throw him out there.
Verlander's been getting whacked around lately, though.
So is Garrett Cole. Verlander's 13-8, 2.72 ERA, 229 strikeouts to 175 innings pitched, with a .94 WHIP.
He's been very good. The Astros don't score for him. That's part of his problem with his win-loss record. But Justin Verlander in his last few starts has been getting smacked around pretty much on a regular basis. So I mean, I don't know how much you can really. He's not Sale right now. Sale is those statistics you read out on Sale. That's from another planet.
Yeah, the .84 WHIP is ridiculous.
Yeah, no, that's
in the AL East.
Yeah, that's
in the AL in general.
Yeah, that's
crazy.
Yeah, don't forget the AL has a DH. I mean, you know, there's no freebies in the AL like there is in the NL.
Sixers JT. As much as I want to say it's Nola, it's DeGrom. I want to say it's Nola too, but it's not. It's DeGrom. And the only argument that you have against DeGrom is wins, which is
that's
fickle.
An unfair statistic, though.
It's like predicting touchdowns from year to year in fantasy football. It's fickle. You never know.
Right. I agree.
Whereas you got your meat and potatoes. You like ERA. I'm a whip guy. I'm a whip strikeouts guy. You seem to be an ERA guy, which is fine. But
again, it's that's just
it's Chris Sale and Jacob DeGrom. It's not even
right now. I think it is, but you still have another month.
Well, who's number 2 in the NL then? Is it Nola or is it Scherzer?
Right now, it's probably Scherzer by a hair. Just because I think his numbers are a little better right now, but that's awfully close now.
15-3 though for
Scherzer.
No, that's Nola.
What's Scherzer now? He's pretty close to the same thing too, I believe.
Jeez, I mean he's 16-6, 2.13 ERA, 244 strikeouts and 181 innings pitched with an 8.8 WHIP. So
that's Scherzer.
That's Scherzer.
I think his numbers are a little better than Nola's then.
Yeah, Nola's third with respect.
Yeah, right now, but
15-3, 2.13 ERA, and he does have 169 strikeouts and 169 innings, and he has a WHIP under 1 at .97. But I mean, 244 strikeouts for Scherzer. I mean,
that's a lot of.
That's ridiculous. He's gonna have 300 strikeouts.
300 strikeouts, which is unheard of in
doesn't
baseball
happen.
Today. In baseball, 2018, 300 strikeouts when guys don't usually pitch more than 200 innings.
I hate to break it to Phillies fans. Aaron Nola's third. I know he pitched really well against Scherzer his last time out. He's gonna pitch against Scherzer again. What if he beats Scherzer twice in what, a week span?
Suppose he beats him like 1-0 though. I mean, that could happen too. Are you going to blame Scherzer for giving up 1 run?
So you don't care. It has no bearing on your Cy Young vote if Nola beats Scherzer.
If Nola beats Scherzer 8-0, okay, that's
Scherzer would have to throw a clunker out there.
Yeah, Scherzer needs to throw a clunker.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying. Right now, I think he's just a little ahead. But you've still got a month more of season to go, which is like probably 5-6 more starts for each one, and that includes DeGrom too. DeGrom could end up having a couple of clunkers too. I mean, you don't know.
He could, but I mean,
listen.
I feel bad that he's on the Mets, honestly.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, he's really he's pitched well. Listen, you can't say he's never done it in a big spot either, because he was that game he pitched against the Dodgers a couple of years ago when they got to the World Series. Game 7 was a classic when he beat. Did he beat Kershaw or did he beat Greinke? Game 7. I think he beat Greinke, right?
Yeah, I think it was Grinky.
Yeah, I mean that he pitched a great game that game.
He's a great pitcher.
Oh yeah.
Him and Syndergaard are great pitchers.
Yeah, and Matz hasn't been bad. And
Is that Ryan Zimmerman beating out an infield single?
No, that was a force play. That was a force play. And also another guy who's really pitched well for the Mets is Wheeler.
He's good, and I think Steven Matz is good too.
Yeah, yeah. Matz is 5-13. He's got a 3.7 ERA. I mean, can you imagine if you had a 3.7 ERA and pitched for the Yankees, you'd have 15, 16 wins by now. Especially if you're pitching 6-7 innings every game.
Yeah.
And by the way, I
agree.
have an update. The White Sox have now taken a 4-2 lead on the Yankees.
That's what to knock on the hill.
Yep. Tanaka gave it up in the 6th inning, and then again in the 7th. So Aaron Boone, unfortunately, leaving Tanaka in too long, and now the Yankees are suffering the price, and that's a problem. Aaron Boone has had most of the season is leaving his starting pitchers in too long, because he's so worried about always resting everybody and resting the bullpen. You know, games against lousy teams. This is where you've got to play to win and step on these teams and step on their necks, and he doesn't do it.
I want to touch some
Touch on what?
fantasy football. Sorry, I'm a little sick. I'm not feeling great.
Rob's trying
Phillies
to get it out.
putting you under the weather?
I think a weekend of fantasy football drafts and work put me under the weather.
Well, the
But
way
I'm playing a little hurt tonight.
the way
Oh,
the
but I'm
Phillies
here.
are playing tonight, though, he's having a problem. We did have to practically strap him down when Ramos was trying to go from first to third with nobody out.
That pretty much freaking out right there. That spent me. That was all I had.
yeah.
Right.
I had like a quarter tank
Rob,
before that happened, and now I'm on empty.
I don't blame you. That's just dumb baseball.
It's horrible.
Yeah. Well,
But the A2D Fantasy Football League drafted last night. Me and Brad have a team. Frank chickened out and joined the other division or section or whatever.
The other division.
clearly intimidated by
whatever
the,
brainchild,
by the sports hounds.
whatever brainchild of a fantasy football league that Tom thought up, where we have 2 leagues with divisions and the winners of the leagues play each other for the championship.
It's going to be very interesting over the course of the season how it's going to play
So, like,
out.
Matthew Stafford's my quarterback. So, when we win the West Division, what if the other guy
Also has Stafford.
also has Stafford? What happens then?
There. I don't even remember. I know there's a way you can do it on ESPN. I'm not sure. 'Cause we are doing it on ESPN Fantasy. Those who are following along. And
Yeah, that
listening.
is kind of an issue.
There is a way. I don't know.
So I'm curious, was there a yin yang in this league that drafted Brady or Rodgers in the first round?
Not the first round.
Let me see. I'm gonna pull up my draft recap as well.
Because there's always somebody who thinks they know everything that goes and drafts
Tom
somebody like that in
Brady.
the first round. Which
I know.
is always a big mistake.
I think the Godfather has Tom Brady,
Yeah, Tom Brady didn't get drafted in our West Division. He did not get drafted until the 5th round.
which is fair. I don't pick
Which is
quarterbacks
about
before
right.
the 8th.
Yeah, if the quarterback's been absolutely outstanding, then yeah, I would go for it. Because I remember the first time I ever did fantasy football, the first league I did. I mean, like Peyton Manning was up there, Tom Brady was up there, so somebody took Manning. I'm like, all right, I'll take Brady, and then like I think it was like the 14th or 15th round, I picked up Randy Mawson. Oh, by the way, the Pats had an undefeated season that year, so it's pretty. That was my core players on that.
but
on that
they
team.
did have one giant loss.
They did have one.
And then
Yep.
Melvin Gordon went in the 2nd round.
Yep, in my league. Yep, and I somehow managed to pick up Melvin Gordon.
Melvin Gordon scores a lot of touchdowns.
Yeah, I was tempted to either
Frank,
go with
Frank
Gordon or
in this
McCaffrey.
Fugazi, weaker division, the FCS part of the A2D Fantasy League. Frank has Le'Veon Bell.
I'm the North Dakota State of the
And
league.
Melvin
Frank,
Gordon.
Frank plays in the NEC of
Yeah.
the of A to D. The
There we go.
NEC. We're
The
in
Northeast Conference.
the we're in the SEC and
Jeez.
Frank is in the NEC.
Where are the? How do I get the draft results here?
Yeah, with FDU and Ryder and Quinnipiac
Quinnipiac.
and Marist.
Jeez.
You remember Rick Smits?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Marist.
He went to Marist.
He did. He was a Red Fox.
Yes, he was. Yes,
Probably
he
the
was.
greatest Red Fox to play.
I'll tell you what. He came to FD. When I went to FDU.
Yeah.
Marist came to FDU to play, and there was like maybe 10 of us in the
How
stands
do I look?
watching
How
that
do I
game.
look at the? How do I get the draft recap?
Nobody could guard him.
Not sure.
Is it in settings?
I think it's in settings. It's either in team settings, but I'm going to go down my FCS roster
Yeah.
of.
Who's your team?
All right, so my two quarterbacks are Pat Mahomes and Phillip Rivers.
I like Mahomes.
My running backs, Le'Veon Bell, Melvin Gordon, Alex Collins, Peyton Barber, Kerryon Johnson.
Kerryon Johnson, nice sneaky pick there for the
Yeah.
Lions. Peyton Barber stinks. Ronald Jones is the back to own there.
For now.
But he's got Bell. We agree.
But I got Bell.
We got Bell
we
too.
have Bell as well. We both had second pick. How about that?
Yeah, that's crazy. And then my wide receivers, I got Mike Evans, Josh Gordon, Brandon Cooks, Marquise Goodwin.
I wouldn't have picked Josh Gordon in the last round of the draft.
And those are my wide receivers.
Who is it? You only have three receivers?
Mike Evans, Josh Gordon, Brandon Cooks, Marquise Goodwin.
I
And
like
then
Goodwin.
my two tight ends.
Frank must have looked at our rankings, Brad.
Yeah, I was snooping around some rankings a little bit. My tight ends, Delaney Walker and Austin Safarian Jenkins. My defenses are the Saints and Texans defense.
You picked more than one defense?
I usually pick more than one defense.
That's an amateur mistake out there, folks. Just take one defense.
I was tempted to take one. I wanted to stick with one, but then I'm like, I'm not sure how the Saints team is going to be, especially with the young guys. I think they might. I'm a little bit worried they might slump a little bit. So I'm like, I'll take the Texans defense just to be safe, just to hold on to them until like the bye week, and then I can replace it with another receiver or something.
Personally, I like the Chiefs defense. I've used them before. They seem to score a lot.
And then my kicker is Matt Bryant. That is my team.
Doesn't matter. All right, so we
Yeah.
have Stafford.
All right.
Our first round pick was Bell, and we have Joe Mixon as well. Joe Mixon, that's a Rob pick. Brad's not sure about Joe Mixon. But I mean,
I'm keeping my fingers crossed about that.
I have
Alright.
Joe Mixon
It's
in
okay.
every draft that I've done so far. I have Joe Mixon, so he better be fucking good.
I like his pick of Stafford. Of course, I told him
I
kinda
love
liked
Stafford.
it. Yeah, we both agreed on that one. I gave him one guy, one sleeper. The guy on Tennessee.
Corey Davis,
Corey
yes, he is our
Davis.
flex. We have A.J. Green and
Nice.
Amari Cooper at receiver. We have the Falcons defense. We have Robbie Gould.
All right.
We have a throwaway tight end. All the tight ends went, so I just took one in the last round. And
Which,
we'll
which
figure it
tight
out
end?
later. We got Ricky Seals-Jones.
All right. That's
Best name in all of fantasy.
yeah.
Ricky
He only had 200
Seals-Jones.
yards
Ricky
receiving last
Seals-Jones.
year.
And then
but
we have,
we'll
we have
see.
plenty of trade bait on the bench. We got Royce Freeman on Denver. Marquise Goodwin, who you have as well.
Yep.
Manuel Sanders. I think he has a bounce back year this year with my boy Case Keenum. Chris Thompson and James White, pair of pass catching backs in a PPR format. And then we have Tyler Lockett and Keelan Cole with Marquise Lee out for the year. Keelan Cole going to be getting all those targets down in Jacksonville. Let's see who
Well,
we are
somebody's
playing.
going to have to catch some passes in
Yeah,
Jacksonville.
somebody. Yeah, that's why I picked up Safarian Jenkins as well, because I know with the news regarding Marquise Lee, I'm like, you know what?
Did
I'll
you see
go with
that
the
hit?
passing
Did you see
option.
the hit that knocked out Lee?
Oh yeah, that was
Jalen Ramsey, who becoming one of my favorite non-Eagles in the whole league.
Yeah.
He barks his mouth, but nothing that comes out of his mouth is really off base. He blames the helmet rule for that injury to his teammate.
Aye.
I mean,
His point's valid.
yeah. Yeah.
I mean, the
yeah.
guy ducks his head
ducks his head. Yeah, DeMonte
to take out his
yeah.
knees because he can't hit him in the head. He got flagged on the defender got flagged on the play, regardless, and Marquise Lee is out for the season. I mean, if who were they playing? Tampa Bay
Who?
in that game?
It was Atlanta.
Atlanta.
Yeah.
I mean, if this is 2005, is Marquise Lee out for the season? I don't think he is. I think Jalen Ramsey has a point.
Yeah.
But be that as it may, Bob Brinkman checking. Julio Jones will be the top receiver. Fournette will be the top running back. Olsen will be the top tight end in stats. Rivers is a great pick because he never misses a game. I love Julio Jones.
The only problem I have with Rivers is that he throws a lot of interceptions.
He does.
That's the only.
It's not awful in fantasy if you throw an interception.
Yeah, but he throws a lot of them though. I mean, let's just be honest. Let's be fair. He throws.
He
throws
does,
a
and
lot.
he throws inopportune ones. He's a gunslinger.
Yeah, he is. I mean, that's not to say I don't like the guy. I like Rivers. I always have liked Rivers, but he has been known to be a little careless with the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, that basically that's followed him his whole career. He's kind of got like the Eli Manning mentality. You know,
And then we play a man named Joe McClelland, who I don't know, in week 1. You know him?
All I know is he's in the Real Talk group on Facebook.
Okay.
I know some of the.
He's got
a
an
lot of
alright.
the-
He's got an alright team. He's got Jarvis Landry and Hopkins. Dalvin Cook's good. I think Watson's being overdrafted, but he could pick up where he left off and be a threat. Jimmy Graham's pretty good. You got a good team. Sports Hounds are favored in week 1, 117 to 115.
I am favored in my game against Parker. Let me figure.
Garage Talk Live.
Yeah, Garage
Mike
Talks
Parker.
Live. Yeah.
Jumping in the fantasy league. I like it.
I'm projected to win 122 to 116.
Now, who is in your little the B league over there?
I mean, we got some people over in the real some of the common names that we pop up here and there. We got
We
Parker,
have a murderer's row of fantasy footballers.
Parker,
in the East Division.
Spellman, Meager, and those are the main guys in our league. Everybody else is from the Real
Rob,
Talk group.
your favorite pitcher is out there now.
Who's that?
Adam Morgan.
Oh, great. Well, this will be.
So
an
we have
eight-
a lot.
this
We
will
have
be
a
an
lot of guys
8-run
from the
game.
Real Talk group in our division.
Well, who are the 9 besides you? I want.
I mean,
want specifics.
you have Mike Parker,
Okay.
Kyle Meager, Sean
Okay.
Spellman.
Does he do a show?
He does
Sean?
not do a show, but he's a frequent commenter. Zach Burr, he used to be a part of HG Radio on a many time basis, but he's currently living in Florida, and trying to contribute with articles and all that. And then we got Mike Murphy, Rob Lutman. I think those are regular commenters.
Yeah, they're commenters.
Yeah, Lenny Robinson, S. White. I'm not sure. I don't really see them in the comments, but
All right. Well, I mean,
yeah.
we got Brodo, we got
yeah,
Tom Arnone, we got Ralphie, we got James Wilder. Joe McClelland is the only one I'm not familiar with. We play him week 1. We have Chucks, Mataram, Mataraki,
jeez,
Dustin Katani, who I'm not
another one of the Real Talk.
familiar with
members.
him either, but I'm sure I'll be familiar with him.
Yeah,
And Greg.
yeah.
This is
You
a
have
strong-
the entire station over
we
here,
have
and
the
I'm
A-League.
on like stranded. I'm stranded. That's basically where I'm at.
Well, I don't know why you left.
I didn't.
I
I
don't
was
understand.
all right. So when we were setting up the leagues and all that, like I think they needed to like spread out some of the talent and all that. So I got like a message. It's like, hey, can you move over to the west? So I'm like, all right, I'll move over to the west. I don't mind, but
I bet you didn't.
I wanted to stay east. I wanted to stay east with you guys, but
So you say.
so I say.
Well,
Allegedly.
Frank, I mean, the pressure is on, man.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if you don't emerge from that soft division to
I mean,
represent the West in the championship week, however
he's-
that's gonna work.
He's right. He's rough on you, Frank.
I know.
mean,
He's being rough.
that's not. It wouldn't be a good look.
I was running some projections on my team for the season. It's a pretty strong squad.
Well, Melvin
It's-
Gordon and Le'Veon Bell, how you have that in any type of competitive?
I don't even like. I was
10 or
su-
12 man
I was
league.
surprised that he was there. I'm like, I'm
Who are
taking it.
who started this on your draft summary?
All right, my draft summary.
So who like at the first pick in the second round to when Melvin Gordon got picked?
All right, so let me find it.
Who are these people taking?
Let's take a look. All right, draft recap. All right, so the start of the second round. Kareem Hunt, Dalvin Cook, Leonard Fournette, Keenan Allen, Michael Thomas, Gronk, Devonta Freeman, A.J. Green, and then Melvin Gordon.
Some idiot took Devontae Freeman over Melvin Gordon.
Yep, apparently.
Devontae Freeman didn't even have 1,000 yards rushing.
And then
last
and
year.
then the 20th pick was Christian McCaffrey. Yeah, I was tempted between Gordon or McCaffrey. If McCaffrey was around at my second pick, I would have taken him. But Melvin Gordon was right there. I'm like,
Oh,
All
Melvin
right.
Gordon is a no-brainer.
yeah, no
Bob
brainer.
Brinkman, Tyreek Hill is chirping that the Chiefs will have the best offense in the league. They're probably gonna have a pretty good offense. Whether they have the best offense in the league or not,
I would.
I like Mahomes.
I would be worried about Mahomes. I mean,
You'd be
he's still
worried
a ro-
about. I mean, he's got a lot of upside.
Yeah,
I
he's
know
got
he does,
upside.
but this is still his first full season in the
He's
league.
unproven.
That's
Well, the
that's
Chiefs,
my
the
only.
Chiefs traded a lot to
The-
move
the-
up and get him.
The one worry I have with Mahomes is like I bring it up on the fix here and there, like almost all the time, and Pat Mahomes could end up being absolutely amazing or the next David Klingler. He has the video game like numbers at Texas Tech, like Klingler had those numbers, but a bad injury can derail that career, and especially on a throwing shoulder like that. So I'm worried with Mahomes. He does have the upside. I like what he has around him. Let's just hope it pays off. That's all I'm saying with Mahomes. I hope he does good, but it's going to be tough.
Best offensively, that might be a little lofty, but I mean they should score points if
Yeah.
But
Yeah, they could score.
it should be
They
a
could
fun.
score.
It should
Yeah.
be a fun league.
Yeah.
By the way,
I'm ready for next year.
I have an update for you. The Oakland A's now trail the Astros 5-4.
Wow, so they gave it up big time there, huh?
Yeah, the Yankees continue to trail now in the top of the ninth to the White Sox, 4-2. Rodon has been dominant. And let's see if there's anything any
Not many games
the
tonight,
Cubs.
Brad.
Yeah, the Cubs lead the Mets 4-3.
They were down 3-1 for most of that game, the beginning part of that game. So
Yeah, so again, there's not a lot. There's not a lot. The Phillies continue to trail 5-2.
a lot of off days today.
Yeah, but the big one really is the Astros and the A's. That's really the
Oh,
biggest
it's
game.
very
on the-
important.
That's
It's very important to win that division because you got either New York or Boston waiting for you in that AL wildcard game, which is
well, I mean,
most likely going to be a loss from the West representative in that All-Star game.
absolutely. I mean, that's gonna be tough. I
Because you're
mean,
either going to be facing Sale or Severino on the road.
yeah, and that's not easy. That's not easy. Maybe not Severino. I was thinking more along the line of J Happ, to be honest with you, Rob.
Brad, come on. You're not
J Happ
starting J Happ in the American League wildcard
They
game
might. They might. I mean, right now he is
over Luis Severino.
He's
Brad,
5.
you're out of your mind.
He is 5-0 with a 2.57 ERA.
You must be joking. I understand. I know he's pitching good. Ever since he came back from gingivitis.
He's been outstanding since he came to the Yankees. So I don't know. I mean, listen, Severino has been good, but he hasn't been terribly
You
efficient.
have to
But then
start
again,
Severino.
I guess you do. You could start him. I mean,
Because
if he
if you
doesn't
start,
pitch-
if God forbid they start Hap and it doesn't go well, people like you are going to be all over Boone.
well, yeah, you're probably right about
I'm
that.
definitely right about that.
Yeah, you got a good point there.
If you're going to go down, you got to go down with your best. And Severino is your best.
At this point, yeah.
He hasn't had as good a second half as has had first half, but
Well, he was the first half Cy Young, but he's been anything but that in the second half. But he's been pitching better. His last 3 games, he's been pretty good.
he had a little lull there
yeah.
in the middle. But, I mean, you're not starting J Hap in the wild card game over Severino. Like, come on. You're not doing that. And if the Yankees are healthy, their everyday lineup is healthy, they'll probably win that wild card game. If they're even in the wild.
So I would. Well, they're going to be in the wild. I can't.
They've trimmed the Red Sox
They have.
lead to 6.
They have.
They have 6 games remaining, I think you told me, against the Red
Yeah,
Sox.
they do. No, I'm looking at it along the lines of they're 9.5 games ahead of Seattle. So I mean, it's not like they're not going to make the playoffs.
No, I didn't say that.
Yeah,
but
they're definitely going to be. There's definitely going to be October.
they're
baseball.
still within striking distance of the Red Sox, and if you can make it so you don't have to
Tough.
play in the
That'd
wild card
be a
game,
bad-
that's obviously.
Be a bad loss tonight against the White Sox, though. That's a disappointing loss.
Yeah, but I mean the Red Sox are reeling right now. They're
They
not
are,
playing well
but
at
they
all.
But they have 2 games at home against.
Evaldi had two
the Marlins.
Evaldi had 2 clunkers last week. They got swept in Tampa Bay.
Well, Evaldi, and I know this probably sounds like sour grapes, but you know what? Evaldi, when he was with the Yankees, wasn't all that. He wasn't that good. He got whacked around when he was with the Yankees, so it doesn't surprise me one bit that he's getting whacked around with the Red Sox. He was on a hot streak for a while, but I mean, you know, he's one of these guys. He throws 100 mile an hour fastball, but it's perfectly straight. So, you know, when he gets his curve over, he's real good, but most of the time he doesn't.
Did you guys catch any of the Little League tournament over the
Yes.
past couple weeks?
Yes, and you know, if you read my quotes on Facebook, you know I was all over Hawaii.
Hawaii was what a team.
Oh yeah.
That kid, number 15, Yamaguchi, that kid looks like Miguel Cabrera up there. The way he hits line drives
What about
to right
23?
field.
He didn't pitch. He wasn't able to pitch yesterday because of the rules, but he
Oh, that's the kid that struck out 16 guys in the against the team from
against
California.
Georgia.
No, against the team from California.
Yeah, he did that, but then he pitched a complete game
Well,
gem
that
against
team
Georgia
was-
in the U.S.
Yeah,
Championship.
that team was so good that until Georgia was the first team I think that they played that didn't get mercy
Gave 'em a
rules.
fight.
Yeah. They slaughtered everybody. Everybody else was 10 runs. I mean, that's
That's good for Hawaii because, from what I understand, the whole state is basically underwater from that hurricane.
yeah. They're going through a rough time right
And
now.
Bob Brinkman points out that they showed great sportsmanship
Mm-hmm.
in their victory as well. So
Yeah,
good
they
for
did.
them.
They did.
Congratulations for Hawaii, the serving champion. I mean,
That's
U.S.
some
usually
team.
doesn't win the whole thing.
Yeah.
No,
they
that's
really
true.
don't.
That's true.
Japan's won a bunch of times.
South
and
Korea,
South Korea was in
Taiwan,
it this year.
Taiwan,
Yeah, Taiwan back in
Taiwan
the day. Yeah.
back in the day used to win every year.
Yeah.
So hats off to Hawaii. Hats off to America.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I think we might be seeing a couple of those kids from Hawaii one day.
Yeah. It's always interesting, especially like years later, that somebody's like, "Oh, I participated in the Little League World Series," and they have like all the footage. I'm like, "Wow, I actually remember watching some of those. I remember the '98 Little League World Series. I remember when everybody was making a big deal of that Tom's River team.
Todd Frazier.
Todd Frazier.
Todd Frazier.
Isn't that the team that had Danny Almonte on it? And
No.
he was like 30 years
No,
old.
that was the Bronx.
Yeah, that was
was the Bronx.
that was a
It was
couple years
cheating.
later.
Yeah.
And then I remember the West Coast team from like '05 that had a young Scott Kingery in it. Like I remember watching that World Series a lot growing up.
Yeah, I do. But it's funny. Todd Frazier, when the Yankees honored Tom's River for winning the World Series,
Yeah.
Todd Frazier actually stood next to Derek Jeter on the field because all the kids were at
Yeah.
their position, and Todd Frazier apparently was a shortstop in Little League, and he stood
Yeah.
next to Derek Jeter, which is pretty cool. So I remember last year when they got Todd Frazier at the trade deadline, they actually showed a picture of him when he was a little kid standing next to Derek Jeter. How
Yeah.
about that, huh?
Man.
It's crazy, but I think you're
That World
spot
Series.
on about Hawaii. I mean, that 23 kid and 15 Yamaguchi. I mean,
Those kids are exceptionally good. That kid Yamaguchi also pitched. He was also a pitcher, which is, I mean, to hit like that and to be able to pitch. But that kid was hitting. That kid looked to me. I kept saying, I was looking at it, I was like, man, that kid hits to right. That kid's a right-handed hitter, and he hits the ball to right field like Miguel Cabrera.
Oh man.
I mean, every ball that was hit that was pitched outside, he's hitting line drives to right field. I mean, vicious line drives.
they were a heck of a ball team.
Yes,
Yeah.
they were, and they should be congratulated. You know, I mean, they really have a lot to be proud about with those kids. But I think the most impressive thing about those kids was the pitching, and now the White Sox now have a
5-2 lead.
6-2 lead because
6-2 lead.
Because as usual, Aaron Boone, the incompetent one, goes and brings in A.J. Cole in a close game.
He loves putting in A.J. Cole in close games.
so that they can get slaughtered.
Why
in
do
the
they
end.
put? Why does he put?
Because he's incompetent. Aaron Boone, if the Yankees aren't winning, he doesn't try to win. And that's my biggest complaint about Aaron Boone. I think he waves the white flag and doesn't try to win.
All right,
when
we
they're
got about a
losing.
minute left here on this edition of Sports Hounds. Next week we're gonna have a big show. We might have a special guest.
Ooh. Is it a surprise?
Not next Friday, not next Monday. We're not going to be here next Monday.
Why?
It's Labor
Why?
Day.
It's Labor Day.
Ah.
So are we? We're not gonna do a show.
Are we doing a show on Labor Day?
That's
I mean,
your
Labor Day.
that's your call.
That's our call.
Yeah.
Oh, that's our call.
That's your call, and you gotta let the head honcho know.
The traffic getting here is going to be very rough late at night.
Well, we'll talk about it. If we do
Okay.
decide to do a show, we'll do our football predictions,
Okay.
and we'll do college and pro predictions. Maybe a special guest if we're here. If not, we will have a couple special guests lined up in the fall. I
Yes.
would imagine.
Do you want to give
We're
away
gonna
with
try.
one of the special guests?
No, not yet.
Oh, do you want to surprise them?
We will surprise you.
No,
Ooh,
when we
I
have
like a
when
good
we
surprise.
have our guests 100% nailed down,
Yep.
then we will
Yeah,
announce,
we don't wanna
we will
spout.
announce it.
We don't want to spout because
And we
Because
got
we don't
we
wanna
got a nice little phone cord ready to go
okay.
for
The
your
phone
special
cord.
guests.
But we will definitely be looking to do that.
But I would imagine our guest frequency will be picking up as we get into the cooler months here in
Yep.
2018.
Yes. Yes.
So be on the lookout for that. I will be here doing a show next week. I will do a show next week. We'll see what Brad
I
wants
will
to do.
let you know about that.
Okay. I really want to do a show next week on the we'll be what? 2
Like-
days away from 3 days away
Yeah.
from
Yeah, 3 days away from kickoff.
so
Yeah.
we'll see. I would like to do a show. I would not like to miss the Monday before the Thursday opener. But stay tuned for our special guest. Stay tuned for our football predictions. Sports Hounds will be back. If not next Monday, the Monday after. Have a good night.